to Folkestone. We are in the services waiting for our crossing for the Channel Tunnel. And first low point of the trip, crying in Starbucks with everyone looking at me like I'm a crazy woman. I think just the emotions of everything just got the better of me. We have had a crazy 24 hours from our house sale finally completing yesterday after so many delays. We had our house leaving party for friends and family in June because we expected to be out the house in June. And then we were given 3 different completion dates in October, all which got postponed. And after pushing and pushing and pushing, yesterday I finally got a phone call about 2 p.m. and was told that we could complete that day. So it's been a whirlwind to try and pass the keys. We'd already been moved out for several weeks because we wanted to be as ready as possible to avoid delaying from our side, but sadly that didn't prevent the delays altogether. In 24 hours completing the house sale and starting my first ever solo travel trip has been a lot, and I think all those emotions have just caught up to me. Having to say, goodbye to friends and family this morning, not knowing when I'll see them next. I know it won't be a long way away. We've only, the maximum Chase can only be out of the country for 4 months with his pet passport. But I have promised everyone I'll be back before Christmas, so it's not a long time, but for my first ever solo trip, I think a week feels like a lifetime to be doing it on your own. So yeah, just overwhelmed with emotions and stress, but I'm excited for what's to come and the adventures ahead of us. It was a fairly smooth trip down. It was about 5.5 hours in the car, and we are now just waiting. We've got about an hour till we can board the tunnel. So Chase has finally settled down. He is also very stressed, and that's what I need to be really mindful of. This is all completely new to him. He hates long car journeys, so that isn't great. He was fine in the car, but it's trying to get him back in after a long car journey will be a challenge for me. Then I had to take him into the services toilets with me because I didn't want to put him back in the car again straight away, so he didn't want to go in the confined space of the cubicle. And then, as I mentioned, he has some touch reactivity, so even just walking around the service shops and just worried that someone might reach out to try and touch him and him snap. He did just actually snap at me a couple of minutes ago. He didn't actually make contact. I think it was just his way of telling me he's overwhelmed too. So we are both in this together. We're feeling it. It's emotional, it's stressful. Anxiety is high for both of us, I think. But day 1 is nearly done. This was probably the hardest day. Definitely the hardest day. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the trip where things start to get easier. We made it. Chase is also very relieved and exhausted. We are in Calais in France. We made it. It was a 15-minute drive from the shuttle terminal. So it was my first ever time driving on the right hand side of the road for 15 minutes, but it was quite dark, very stressful. And that was probably one of my biggest anxieties about driving on the other side of the road. I've never done that before. I'm not the most confident driver on the best of times, but we did it and we survived, and it wasn't too bad. There was the odd slight moment of panic coming up to some big junctions,
I found the roundabouts pretty simple actually. I was worried about those, they seemed okay. And having the sat nav, I've got luckily a screen for the sat nav, and I found that really useful as just a visual. I could look at that and it would draw out the route, obviously. So it was easy to see where I should be going. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. Just some of the big junctions are quite, I find big crossroads confusing anyway. So trying to figure out the right hand side of the road, it was a little bit confusing, but we did it. And as long as there's plenty of cars around, it's pretty straightforward. So we are exhausted. We are spending one night here. I have a vegan Galaxy bar as my treat, and I'm going to watch some Disney Plus and get an early night. So we will keep you posted. I actually, before I go to bed, need to book somewhere to stay tomorrow night so we can get going first thing after maybe a little bit of a lie-in because we're both tired.